Hi everyone, and welcome back to ESCXTRA. My name is Bente, and today I am joined by Daði Freyr from Iceland, who is singing 10 years in Eurovision. Daði, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So just to start, I am assuming most people that are watching this will know who you are, but can you still give a bit of an introduction, tell the viewers a bit about yourself?
My name is Daði Freyr. I come from Iceland. I make electronic pop music, and I'm competing for Iceland in Eurovision 2021.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So, when did you kind of start making music?
My mom and dad met in a marching band, so music is a big part of the family, and I started playing drums when I was 6 or 7 years old. So and then moved on to the piano from there, and then to guitar and bass. So yeah, it's been a part of my life for a long time. But it was when I was 15, I think, that I really dove headfirst into it.
Yeah, so did you kind of always want to be a musician as well?
Sorry, my internet, I guess, is not the best.
Oh, sorry, that's all right. So I was just asking, did you always want to be a musician?
Until I was, I think, 14 or 15, then I was going to be a drawer. My dream was to make stories for the Donald Duck comic books. My heroes were Carl Barks and Don Rosa. But yeah, after that, I kind of decided that I wanted to make music.
Yeah, so do you have musical inspirations as well?
Yeah, I've lots. I am very inspired by, especially lately, stuff like Stevie Wonder and Kool and the Gang and Earth, Wind and Fire, and then Chromeo and Hot Chip and Gorillaz and Daft Punk. And yeah,
those are
lots.
Really great names. Yeah, I mean, Hot Chip even made a remix of Think About Things, right?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was a nice moment.
Yeah, so did they reach out to you, or?
I saw that Al Doyle, one of the members of Hot Chip, and he's also a member of LCD Sound System, which is another band that I'm a huge fan of. I saw that he tweeted about Think About Things, and yeah, straight after then I contacted my people that contacted their people, and it happened.
That's so cool. Yeah, definitely. So in the documentary by the RUV, which is the Icelandic broadcasters, you can see that the creation of Gagnamagnið was somewhat of an accident, because you sent in the song's national final and then suddenly you had to perform it yourself. Do you kind of feel like now that you have a band, does that change the way you make music?
No, not really. The Gagnamagnið is just a Eurovision performance group. We don't play shows outside of Eurovision related events. But I do write, I guess, differently for Gagnamagnið, because those are Eurovision songs that have to fit into both have to work in a 3-minute performance and also follow all the rules of Eurovision. But that's the main difference, I think.
Yeah, all right, that does make sense. Speaking of Eurovision, of course, ESCXTRA is a Eurovision news website, so we got to talk about it. Let's start with your entry, 10 years. What was the songwriting process? What was it like?
I started writing it as soon as we knew that we were gonna be representing Iceland, which if I remember correctly, was in September. And then I started by making a few demos of songs that I thought might work for this. And some of them were almost songs, and some of them were just a bass line and a drum beat or something like that. And then on attempt number 12, then I got to what ended up being 10 years, and it took me still a while to write afterwards. It's very rare for me to write a song just that just comes out. It's usually a process.
Yeah, so will we get to hear numbers, 1 to 11 as well?
No, definitely not 1 to 11, but maybe, yes, some of them like are gonna be around.
Interesting, interesting.
I think, yeah, there's a few that made it into the video game that's gonna be coming out in
Oh yeah,
in
I will get back on that later, don't worry. So of course, Think About Things was about your daughter, and 10 Years is about your wife. Kind of like, how did you decide to write both of your songs about family?
Just because that's what was on my mind at the point when I wrote it. I guess like our daughter was very new, so that's all I was thinking about when I wrote the first song. And now we've been just the three of us for such a long time, and especially when we were in Berlin because of lockdowns. Then like I spent all of my time with just them and basically nobody else. So that's, yeah, very high on my mind. And
Yeah,
also I think it's a nice way to celebrate our 10-year togetherness.
yeah, and congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So of course, what I thought was very interesting is in the song, you actually don't really talk about 10 years, except I think in the first sentence, which is we've been together for a decade now. Did
Mhm.
you consider any other titles for the song?
I considered decade, but that was it.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so how did your band react when they heard it for the first time?
They seemed very positive about it. Like I didn't see them when they listened to it, but their comments were very positive.
Good. Yeah, definitely. So what I also saw in the RUV documentary is I think it was you mentioned that you had certain guidelines from the broadcaster that you had to follow with the new song. So you couldn't like, write a joke entry or just send something really, really awful. Can you reveal anything about that?
I mean, they didn't give me guidelines per se, but I knew that it um, they could have said, like, if I sent something in, they could have said no, that's not going to work, and I would have had to do something else. But I mainly wanted to be true to what people, because we won the Icelandic competition last year, and I didn't want to come again with something like completely different, because that's not what, like, I wanted to stay true to what we started with, Think About Things, so we could, yeah, so it would still be kind of people voted for
Yeah,
what people voted for.
kind of a similar sound.
Yeah, similar vibe at least.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear it, but I think it's nice that you have like a similar vibe, but you're not listening to it and thinking, oh, this is the exact same song. So, kudos to that.
Thank you.
And of course, you also released some music in Icelandic. Was that something you considered for this year?
No, I knew that I was gonna bring a English song just so more people would understand what I was saying, because, yeah, I think that's a big part of, at least, uh, Eurovision to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense.
I think it makes sense for at least my songs. Like, there are some of my favorites, favorite Eurovision songs are songs that I don't understand, like the Ukrainian this year is one of my favorites from this year, and I have no idea what they're saying.
I have the same, yeah. It's but that's also fun, right? Do you have any other favorites from this year that you can think of right now?
Yeah, the Australian Montaigne. I'm a fan of not only the song from this year, but a lot of her other work. And John's Tears Also, I met him. He's a super nice guy, and the Roop also met those guys. I'm a big fan as well.
That's great. I mean, I gotta respect your taste. That's really good. So, of course, on your song, you have this choir of fans who kind of sing on the background. How did you think of that?
As soon as we knew that they were going to try out this this thing where you can have backing vocals in the playback, I knew that I needed to somehow use that, like because it's never been allowed before. Then I could do something that nobody has done in Eurovision before, and this hasn't been done in Eurovision to my knowledge, to have this big of a choir, and this might be the only year that it's ever going to be allowed. So
yeah, true. I mean, it's your only chance to do it, right? Yeah. So I also wanted to know, do you feel like you have kind of changed or grown as an artist between Think About Things and 10 years?
Yeah, I think like I try to at least keep building on the craft every time I make something new. So I feel that way.
Good. Yeah. So can you do you have an example of like things that you feel gotten better, or is it just an overall?
Yeah, I think it's like I don't think it's like any specific part of how I make music. It's just kind of an overall thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually feel that like all the time. I think in 50 years, or I hope that I'm still gonna make stuff that I feel is better than the last thing that I did, even though I don't know if people are gonna agree with me or not. But at least for me, I hope that is gonna be
That's
the
what
case.
matters, right? It doesn't matter if it's good to someone else. It matters if it's good to you.
And it's good to me.
Yeah. Well, it's also good to me, but it's more important that it's good to you. So of course, Think About Things, I have to talk about it. It was a viral success. Did you feel pressured to create the same success with 10 years?
No, I think if I would have, like, if that was the goal, I would be setting myself up for failure, because I know that the success of Think About Things is something that doesn't happen to, like, it happens to a very few people, and I was super lucky with how that all went. Like, I'm just gonna do as well as I can with this one, but if it doesn't get as successful as Think About Things, like, that's not gonna, that's okay.
I mean, that's good at least, yeah. So you mentioned it before, the Icelandic broadcaster asked you to return. Did you say September?
I think so.
Did you say
Or
yes?
October,
Right?
maybe.
I don't remember when the announcement was, but yeah. Anyway, did you say yes right away, or did you have to discuss it?
There was some things we needed to clear out, but I said very early on that I was keen on going to Eurovision in 2021, but I wasn't gonna compete in the Icelandic selection. So if they would have had a selection in Iceland, then we wouldn't have been part of it.
Yeah, and what's the reason that you didn't want to do that?
Like, it is a lot of work to go there, and like if to go through all that and then maybe not go to the actual competition, I think would have been like I needed to use the momentum of Think About Things so I really needed to prioritize my timing. And also I think it would just have felt weird to us to have won last year and then go back and maybe get points just because we won last year and didn't get to compete. And I don't I knew as soon as we competed in 2020, even before we had won, that was going to be my last time competing in that competition. So Eurovision being cancelled didn't change my feeling towards that.
And it's interesting though. So was there a reason that you were thinking, it's going to be the last time?
I just felt like we were doing like as much as we could in that competition, and to me, like I wouldn't compete, I think, without Gagnamagnið. And yeah, we tried to go all in that year into Songwiters, and which resulted in us then in the end winning. So yeah, if we wouldn't have won, I think it would have been the same feeling of like, okay, but we did everything we could. This is a good way to say goodbye to that.
Yeah, I
But now we're
mean,
going to Eurovision, and then
yes.
it's a totally different thing, and then we can up everything. At least that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, you did what everyone wanted to achieve, so that's great. And of course, we have, I think it's on Friday, correct me if I'm wrong, the music video for 10 Years is coming out.
Yes.
What can you share about that?
I can share very little. It's going to be Gagnamagnið. There's going to be the dance from our performance, and there's new costumes, and there's like special effects costumes that me and Arnie made, and we're also wearing in the video, and lots of VFX.
Interesting.
It's a lot bigger than we did last year. We're trying to. It's an idea that I had for a very long time. This video and never like had the guts to make reality. But I'm super happy with how it's turning out.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting. So you also can't share anything about like a favorite part, something to look forward to?
No, you can look forward to the whole video.
Oh, of course. No, I am. I am. Don't worry about it. And
I'm super happy with the video, and I think people are gonna like it. At least I'm very confident in this video.
Yeah. Was it directed by the same people as the previous one? Oh, that's also good. So it kind of has the same, well, how
that's
like
that's kind of a
components.
Gagnamagnið also thing. Like we try to get the same team around us like every year. Like it's growing, but the core members are usually there.
Oh, that's really cool. So also with the outfits, same people as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Or same girl. It's Lovísa Tómasdóttir.
Little shout out there. Very good. And the choreography to 10 Years, did you create that yourself or with help, or did you let someone else do it?
Like the choreography, we get some help with that, like people watching it, because we can't do it and watch it at the same time. So we're getting pointers a lot, but like the core of it is just us making it.
Yeah. So
and the performance we did in Icelandic TV the other day is going to be very different from what is going on the stage in Rotterdam. Like there we had the old instruments and the old costumes, and those are not gonna be coming with us on the Rotterdam stage.
That's very convenient, because that was going to be my next question about the instruments and the costumes. Well, you've basically answered already. Is that new instruments, new costumes? Can we expect that on the stage as well?
Yes.
Ooh, very nice. And homemade as well, the instruments?
Of course.
Oh, that must have taken so much work, though.
Yep, it did. It's like getting ready for this performance and the music video and the video game and hologram world tour that we're doing as well, and the beer that we're making, and all the stuff surrounding our performance in Eurovision now has basically been my whole life for the past few months.
Yeah, I was
that and of course my family.
Yeah, of course. I mean, priorities, right?
Shout out to them.
If they're watching, maybe. Yeah, I was actually going to say that because you posted it on Instagram yesterday. Gagnamagnið beer? What's up with that?
I just contacted my favorite brewery, which is Borg Brukhus, and they make a lot of different beers. They're like a craft brewery, and I really like their beer. So I asked them if they were down to make a beer with us, and they were.
I love that. So
That's like a thing that I've been wanting to do for a while also, but I never, like, I'm using this opportunity to do a lot of things that I've been wanting to do, but now I can be like, hey, I'm competing in Eurovision. Can we maybe make a beer? And they're like, okay,
yeah,
let's make a beer.
why not?
Yeah.
Just use Eurovision as an excuse to do all the things you want to do.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so you also mentioned the game, which is interesting. When can we expect that?
We're actually making, or I'm making with a team that we put together, one that's going to be coming in the beginning of May or end of April, which is like a Super Mario type side scroller where you can play as Gagnamagnið, and it's like a adventure game. Like there's a storyline in it. But then there's also another one that's going to be, you can play with the 3 songs of Gagnamagnið. Like you can learn how to play the lead line on piano,
so cool.
and you can sing like SingStar-esque with it, and more.
Wow, interesting, very interesting. So you can, is it like kind of like an old Mario game, you know, with just like the click and jump kind of thing?
Yeah, the adventure game is going to be something like that. But then there's also a musical element to it.
Musical experience to it. Oh, that's so cool. And do you know when it's going to be released?
Yeah, the side scroller is the beginning of May, and I think like 3 weeks earlier, probably the other one.
Yeah, so people can learn the song.
Yeah,
that's very smart. Yeah. So were you very involved in the creation of this game?
In the side scroller, especially, yeah. Mozilla is a company that's making the other one, like the one where you can play with the songs. I made a game with them earlier that's called Neon Planets, so that we made 3 years ago, something like that. And they just contacted us and were like, hey, you want us to make a game with the songs? And I was like, yes, we already have a game that we're making, but yes, of course, I would love that.
Yet another thing you can add to the list, you know?
Yeah. But the other one, we Jói in Gagnamagnið, he's like the project manager of the side scroller game. It's getting a little confusing. That's sorry, I'm confusing myself a little bit now with this. We asked people on Instagram to if they knew how to make a game and if they wanted to make a game with us. So we got people from like all over the world in the team.
Oh, that's so fun. It's like the choir, but the game.
Yeah.
But the same.
And it's not 1,000 people either. Like,
oh, thankfully, yeah. The choir was 1,000 people.
Yeah, give or take 100, I think. Oh, we're working on the credit list now. It's long.
We get to see it like at the end of the music video or something, the credit list.
That's the plan, that it's going to be in the description, but I don't know if it's going to be there when it's released, because yeah, it's a lot of names and a lot of emails, and we're trying to get everybody that was on in the song to be in the credit list. But
yeah, definitely. And I also still wanted to ask, you know, do you have a goal or like motivation between? Well, do you have a goal or motivation behind participating in Eurovision?
In last year, it was to see like if we could actually go to Eurovision, just to, like, I know it's a lot of exposure, and I was it was both a thing to help just expand my musical career, but also to go with Gagnamagnið and experience Eurovision, because it's a fun group to make stuff with, and it's probably a fun group to go to Rotterdam and compete in Eurovision with. And that's the main thing this year. Like I feel like I've gotten of course, we didn't compete, but it still got me a lot more exposure than I thought it was ever gonna do. So now the main goal is to go and experience Eurovision, because I hear it's like its own world, kind of, that I just wanna try.
It's definitely interesting. So the goal is kind of like have fun and get the opportunity to make beers with a local brewery. All right.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. That's the best motivation, right? I really only have one question left, which is one we always end with, which is, do you have a final message for your fans at ESCXTRA?
Yes, I do.
Good.
Hi,
Thankfully.
ESCXTRA people. My name is Daði Freyr. You're fabulous. You are perfect the way that you are, and never change unless it's for the better. And thank you for being you.
Fantastic. That's that's a great message. Daði, thank you so much for being here. And to the people watching, I mean, take his words to heart and have a great day.